Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I hope you're all doing well. So, you know who I am, Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support, LLC, CEO, Dancing Monkey, whatever you want to call me. Um, Hopefully, a lot of people are joining in, finding these videos helpful, these live sessions that we're doing. So just know, I'm not going to be the only one that's going to be on these live sessions all the time. We're looking at putting together a crew of people. That way we can join in with other experts, talk about EDI, API, any of the different integrations that we have going on to help educate and help build people up. So today what we're going to cover and we're going to talk about is best practices to follow when integrating EDI with an ERP. And this really can follow for whether it's an ERP, a WMS, or a TMS. If you think of it from a system integration standpoint, these are what I feel are some of the best practices to follow when you're doing that. You know, some of those best practices that you need to look at is, first off, do you have subject matter expertise on your team, or do you need to find somebody? So think about that. If you are looking to integrate with NetSuite and you truly understand how to operate NetSuite, but you don't know everything and you want to consider yourself a subject matter expert, well, when you do integration, you want to have somebody that is that subject matter expert, somebody that knows NetSuite, they know how to move files in, out, how the API works, all of those things. Because I typically say, like, when you're dealing with EDI support, we're not to be your subject matter experts in the ERP, WMS, or TMS system. My team's not really here to define what your business process is, business approach is, how the exact integration. May have done it in the past or currently with other clients or any of those type of things. But again, we don't want to define how you do things. So you want to be able to say, hey, this is our process. These are the user-defined fields that we've added. Here's the information that we do and our checks and balances or whatever they may be. So one of the things you might want to do is, instead of going, hey, we're going to select X as our ERP, it might be, hey, we're looking at these ERPs and we're going to start to interview to find ourselves a subject matter expert if we don't already have them on staff. Okay. So now you have them and you can have them in your back pocket and they can basically help to answer any type of questions that you need that's dealing with that type of ERP or WMS or TMS, just the system in general. They can explain it to you. They can say, hey, it's better to use the API instead of writing directly to the database or whatever. They can give you those ins and outs. They can give you the gotchas. They've been through it before. They may not know EDI all the time, and that's okay. If they understand, you're really just looking to automate a process that you're already doing. So whether that's purchase orders or health care claims or whatever it may be, they know how to take care of that. They know how to answer those questions. The other things that you got to look at when you're looking to do integration inside of an ERP is know the limitations. What are you limited by? Is there certain things or certain values or certain like decimal points or whatever it may be that you're limited to handling that integration? You know, does it have a robust API, or is that API actually limited where you can't get to everything? So maybe you can only do, purchase order integration to create a sales order in the system. And you can do an invoice out, but there's no way to get at the shipping information, where there's no way to get, a purchase order acknowledgement where somebody's going through and saying, yeah, the sales order looks good and I'm ready to acknowledge. Well, if I can't get at that data as your integration partner or team or however you look at us, well, guess what? My hands are tied. I'm limited. Now I got to come up with another way to handle that. Do I need to take some of the data, store the existing data that's coming in, and regurgitate it back out on an 855? Or do I need to have you you can't handle it in the ERP because we're limited and you got to handle it inside of a database, whatever it may be. And again, this is why it leans back to the subject matter expert. You have subject matter expert, your team, and if the subject matter is on your team, that's great. And then our team or whatever EDI consulting or integration team you're using, and the meeting of the minds happens instead of being piecemealed. Well, I'm going to talk to my subject matter expert and then I'll relay the information to you. It's like I always say to people, listen, you ever play that game Whisper Down the Alley? Well, Whisper Down the Alley doesn't help you because you miss some information. As it gets to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, it really hits and people are missing what's truly being said. So bring them into the meeting. Sit down, have a cohesive, figure out the business process, figure out what you're looking to automate. Do all of those things before you can sit there and go, this is what I want you to do. So if we look, as I always try to do, Karan, we're gonna share your message here. Hi, Jim. Recently, same of the clients and ERP system are using Bespoke, XML files, and carbon copies. Can you tell me about this briefly? So I'm not exactly sure which ERP or what clients you're dealing with. And when you're talking about XML files and carbon copies and all of those type of things, those are more outside of the actual ERP. You can have a universal or canonical format that you're looking to do. And some ERPs are going to be based on XML, or they're going to be based on JSON, or they're going to be based on a CSV file, or they're going to be based on integrations that have to use a database. There's a whole slew of them. It all depends on which ones you're dealing with. You know, so like NetSuite, for example, has where you're actually integrating and using an API. Okay. But when you get into on-prem Dynamics, well, guess what? You're going to be dealing with either an EDI interface where somebody has an integration platform that's built into Dynamics, or you're going to be writing to the actual database itself. So if you can actually elaborate more on what exactly you're looking for me to answer, I can definitely go through it and give you my advice or give you what I've seen and what I've come across. And again, I'm not the expert to know every single thing that's out there. But in my world, we have to speak to the exacts. Like, give me the ERP that you're referring to, give me the process that you're talking about, and then I can speak to if I've ever come across it, my team's come across it, any of those type of things. Carbon copies can be to a facilitator. Carbon copies can be to a warehouse. Carbon copies can be to all kinds of different entities. When you speak of carbon copies are really just a mirroring or resending of the data you receive in the exact same format to another entity. So typically that might be you're a sister company, you're going to send that off to the parent company, or it's going to get carbon copied to the warehouse because you want the warehouse to be aware of the orders that you're receiving, or you're dealing with a 4PL scenario where they do all the fulfillment, all the orders, but you want the data coming to you first. Carbon copies can mean a lot of different things. So if you can give me a little bit more detail as to exactly what you're looking for, I can definitely give you advice as to what I'm thinking. All right, so if we go back and we're looking at ERPs and we're talking about the integration and we're talking about what we have and what we don't have availability, those are the things that need to be figured out, because you have to make sure that you can answer for the stuff that you need to. Some people move in and select an ERP and it doesn't really have shipping information. It doesn't allow for printing of labels. It doesn't allow for custom packing slips. It doesn't allow for all these different things that you need to think through. And a subject matter expert in that particular ERP can give you the shortfalls. They can give you those things, because then it's not falling on our shoulders as an integration partner for us to come to you and say, hey, guess what? We found out that it doesn't do XYZ. What are we going to do? And I tend to rely on the client to either have somebody on staff or have somebody that's external that can answer to those questions. Because you should never just select an ERP just to select an ERP. Well, this company uses it and they do the same style of business as us, so we should do that. You may think they do the same style of business, but they may not do the way that you handle things. They might not have a third party warehouse. They may do all of their own warehousing. They may have another system that does the printing of the labels, printing of the packing slips, and has no integration in the ERP because the ERP is really just being more of a financial accounting entity. So think those things through. Understand, and this is one of the things that I always tell people, understand the business process and how you're going to move the data, whether you're doing it manually, where somebody's keying in on a keyboard, or you're having it interface and you have to automate that process. EDI is really just automating a process that you already have taken care of. And if there's certain documents that they're asking for that you don't have covered in your manual process, well, guess what? Not going to be as simple to take care of when it comes to EDI and doing it from an integrated approach. So the do's and the don'ts of the ERP integration is making sure that you have all of your ducks in a row and you have all of your information taken care of. If you're replacing an ERP system, you're covering the pain points that you already have in your existing ERP system. If you're looking to do new business and you know of that new business and it's been on hold, make sure your ERP can handle that. Because I can tell you from an EDI standpoint, I can do whatever you want to do. Now, what it's going to cost you is a whole different aspect. So we can write the data to a database. We can make you have web forms where somebody's entering in all the information. We can do all of those things. Is that the right way to do it? Most likely not. But if you have the right people come together and talk about things, well, guess what? Now you're going to get the answers and you're going to get those things that are taken care of. So the do's and the don'ts is don't hide anything. Talk about everything that's out there. Have experts on all sides and just be upfront. Because if anything's ever hidden, well, guess what? There's going to be a problem when that thing that was hidden is discovered. When that piece was like, oh, well, we forgot to tell you about this. Well, guess what? I forgot to tell you it's going to cost you X, Y, Z to get it done. And that's where you have to be forthcoming. You have to share where your end goal is, what you're looking to take care of, and do all of those things. And if you're doing a straight ERP integration that is a migration also, don't mix in all the things that you wanted to do. Cover what you do now, and then add in the new things. A lot of people want to just jump out full gate, go full blown into a brand new ERP with EDI integration, and then they're just mixing so many different moving parts into it that you're just asking for a disaster. You're asking for these things to blow up in your face and not meet goals, not meet deadlines, not do all of those things. Where if you put the blinders on and you keep it narrow fitted, you're going to succeed. And biggest thing, always say this, no matter if it's dealing with one trading partner, 10 trading partners, 1,000 trading partners. Importance of end-to-end document flow testing. You need to make sure your team reviews all stages of the documents through your ERPs and gives a full sign-off. I've had plenty of clients that have come to us after the fact when their team has said, oh yeah, everything looks great. And then we find out the terms are wrong. Okay, well, guess what? You sent off to a client 60-day terms based on your ERP, and they're typically paying you in 30. What do you think that trading partner is going to do? They're going to pay you on the 60. They're not going to pay you on the 30 because they're going to say, oh, well, we took in that 60 and I'm sorry, that's what it says. So that's what we're going to pay you off of. In most instances, in most cases, you don't have enough leverage to tell these trading partners that you're going to stop selling them product. Let's be real. In most cases, they hold the keys, they hold the power. So you want to make sure also that everything's correct, because you don't want to have to call up your accountant or your CPA or talk to your AR department or AP department and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry, we posted 1,000 invoices and they're all wrong. How can we update them? And then you find out there's no way to update them. And then you find out, oh my God, we have to go through and credit and reprocess from the beginning. You got to be kidding me. That means I got to preprint labels. That means I got to redo my shipping documents. That means I got to do all these different things. Or, hey, let's take it another step further. Hey, EDI support, I need you to go in and manually edit 10,000 invoices. What do you mean? Well, we can't correct it, and we don't, it'd be too much of a mess for us to go back and correct it. So we'd rather pay you to correct it on the EDI side. Oh, okay. So that might take one of my team members 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. So now you're paying a support consulting group to edit the raw EDI so that your trading partner gets it correctly, because your ERP is incorrect. That's never a good look if you ever get audited, but that's on you. So make those decisive decisions to do full end-to-end testing and going through everything and making sure you have everything covered and everything's taken care of. Because if you don't, the issue is going to be with you. It's not with your trading partner. It's not with anybody else. It's with you. And you didn't get the check boxes taken care of. You didn't cross and make sure everything looks good along every step. Because remember, it's that whole bad data in, bad data out. So if you catch it in the beginning, it will take care of what you're sending, and you're not chasing after the data. So a lot of the things are really project management. Project management is big when you're doing an integration. Doesn't matter what you're dealing with. Again, if it's one trading partner, a full new EDI system, full new ERP system, maybe ERP and EDI system, whatever it may be, take the time to go through, lay everything out, figure it out, and then move forward with it. Because if you try to just run when you should really be walking or even crawling, take the time. Because again, it can cost you relationships, it can cost you money, it can cost you all kinds of headaches. You could be making your own team upset with you. So think about those things as you're going through, and as you're thinking of, a new system that you want to bring on board, or a new system that you want to deal with, or anything of the such. I'm hoping that those little pieces and those little wrinkles that I'm throwing in there will help you to understand, hey, let me listen to what Jim talked about. Let me look at what we're doing there, because that makes sense. It makes sense to lay everything out and take our time. And you don't have to be a huge client to do this. You can be a small company and still take the time to lay out the process, lay out the project, lay out what you're looking to accomplish, lay out the team members that you have or people you have available to your team, because that's what you need to do. In order to be successful, that's what you need to do. A lot of people sit and think, well, why do we need to take so much time? Just get it done. Okay, just get it done. That never works. Just getting it done means more money, ends up being more time, deadlines missed, whatever. Take your time in the beginning, up front, figure it out, have some answers. If you don't have the answers, reach out to us. We can help you. We can help you lay it out. I can help you figure it out, what you're looking to accomplish. But you got to give me everything. Can't give me pieces. And I typically always tell that for any new client, new prospect, hey, I'll sign an NDA. Really, who am I going to tell? My dog? Like, I'm not going to sit there and talk about your organization. I got many other things that I need to do in my personal life. And I try to shut down when I can from work. But yeah, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to think about, especially when you're doing your ERP integrations. Again, if there's anything that I can help with, hit me up. Follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, join our Discord group to keep learning from our experts and get quick answers to your EDI and API questions. You'll see the links in the event details section of this post and of this live session. And again, thank you, everybody. Karan, if you have questions, shoot me an email, jim@edisupportllc.com. Give me specific details, and hopefully I can answer your questions that's dealing with Bespoke XML files and carbon copies. I'll go through that and explain it to you. Have a great Wednesday. Stay cool. It's very hot here in Pennsylvania today, hottest of the year. And look forward to talking to everybody soon. Take care.